What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great weekend. Of course, trying to win some money today. No Eagles football, so placed a lot of money, only to lose a lot of it. I can thank the Cardinals for a lot of that. But yeah, had a good weekend regardless, but still pissed off. The Eagles are not playing today. You know that we have to play 3 games in 13 days, so going to be a wild ride. But regardless, can't make any excuses. Got to just push forward with what we've got. So we will be playing Tuesday night at 7 o'clock against the Washington football team. And look, they're a little banged up beyond just COVID. And I think this is a chance for the Eagles, obviously, to make a playoff push, but to really get some experience for some of these guys. And we'll see who wants to be a part of this future. So join me tonight as we go through the roster comparison and matchup advantages. I'll give you all the injuries, everything that's going on for both teams, so you know who is actually going to play, who might not. So anything you guys have to add, please feel free. Any kind of questions, comments you want to throw my way, you know those are always welcome. So hopefully you're having yourselves a great weekend so far. Let's get into it. First off, we'll start with some of the injury news. We'll start with the bad news. Landon Dickerson placed on the COVID list. Man, that sucks because he has been dominating. And this offensive line has looked great. We've had a starting offensive line that's actually stayed the same. Then Driscoll got hurt. Herbig filled in. So, I mean, we've seen it all throughout the year. But once again, we're going to have to replace Landon Dickerson. We'll talk about that here shortly. But some good news is Quez Watkins was activated from the reserve COVID list. So that is fantastic. We have talked about whether or not we needed John Hightower or who was going to come up from the practice squad, but looks like Quez will be ready to go. So that is fantastic news. Now, on to the Washington football team side. They have a plethora of COVID news and everything else. We'll get to that as we talk about their roster. But on the injury report, they have Brandon Sheriff and Cole Holcomb. They are limited at practice. We'll see what, the way this is going, who knows who's going to actually be ready. They've got these extra days rest. So these guys will probably be good to go, but I don't know if the same can be said for J.D. McKissick and Curtis Samuel, who both did not practice yesterday. But today they did not drop a report. We'll keep our eyes on that. We'll see who is actually ready to go. But yeah, regardless, they've got a couple injuries beyond that. Now we know that this matchup, it is a big one for both teams vying for that last wild card spot. The Eagles got to get things going in a lot of areas. We've looked up and down all season, all over the place. The one thing we've held on to is that dominating rushing attack for the past few weeks. So, beginning of the year, that was not the case. So, what a crazy season it has been. But look, we got to get this division win. We got to be pissed off right now about this. I'm feeling good, man. I wish I could have won some more bets. I would have if the Cardinals wouldn't have killed me. But doing good with some of my DFS, some of those things. But regardless, some of the parlays did not hit. Hopefully, you're having yourself a great night so far, Drew. Look, today it sucked because there was no Eagles football. Let's be real. But we've got football today, football tomorrow. Then we've got football, obviously, the Eagles football Tuesday. So I can't complain too much. So a little bit excited, man. Hopefully you're ready for Christmas, less than a week away. So things have been wild here, but pumped to talk about this. So let's get into it. Obviously, the Washington football team led by Ron Rivera. Got Scott Turner running the offense there. Jack Del Rio there helping the defense. We know Ron Rivera, a defensive-minded guy. But, yeah, this team has really struggled on defense, which has been surprising this year. We'll see what they bring to the table this week. And then, obviously, the Eagles run by Nick Sirianni here and this new coaching staff, Cannon. He has actually, brought this defense and made them, a little bit better the last few weeks. So I haven't been too much on him, but regardless, we know what they're bringing to the table. It's a very young coaching staff, and we hope that they just keep growing, keep learning. I don't think any of these guys are getting fired. So I think we just got to hope for the best here the next few weeks. Now, you know how this goes with the roster comparison and the matchup advantages. We are going to look at each position. First, we're going to take a look at, where their stats are, how this team has actually looked so far this year. But then we're going to talk about which position has the advantage, not who is better, but who has the better advantage in this game. And then we'll get to the bottom and we'll talk about who has the better advantage in the whole game. So we'll start on offense. Now, this Washington football team on offense, they're running the ball with Antonio Gibson. Rivera likes to run the ball. He did it a lot with McCaffrey there, trying to do the same with Gibson and McKissick. We'll see if he plays. The passing attack, not so great. Overall yardage and points, it's a below average offense. We should be able to get this defense going. We talk about getting pressure. They're allowing 2.3 sacks per game. Need to get some damn pressure. We're like 30th in the damn league. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So, look, you see below average here, not good, almost an interception per game, almost a fumble loss per game. So 1.6 turnovers per game, not the greatest. This defense needs to come to play. Now, the Eagles offense, we should be able to put up some damn points on this damn Washington football defense. Looking at this rushing attack, Jalen Hurts should play. We shall see what they want to do dealing with that ankle injury, but we have 3 games in 13 days. So do you want to risk it? We shall find out. But we know that we have Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard is back, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. So continue to run that damn ball. 30th in the league in passing. We are not passing the ball. And look, you can get the job done. You saw the Colts do it last night. You saw the week before that when the Patriots did it, only throwing the ball 3 times. You can win the game running the ball and having a defense. We talk about it all the time. Don't care about the analytics. Don't care what people say. Run the damn ball. So we're going to come out, run the ball against this Washington defense. And I think that we can get some points on the board here. I'm very excited. I think that, they have a good run defense. Their passing defense hasn't been the same. I would love to see the passing attack get going, but establishing the run will go far. Now, this offense, they have actually been very surprising, only giving up 1.8 sacks per game. And look, they have not been turning the ball over, tied for 4th, with only a turnover per game. That is what I love to see. This team taking care of the ball, Jalen Hurts making smart decisions. That's what we want to see. Continue to develop and improve each week. That's what I'd love to see this Tuesday. Now, leading the Washington offense is Garrett Gilbert. They had to sign him off the street because, they've got Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen on the COVID list. So that's not good. And then you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick already on the IR. So they will be rolling out Garrett Gilbert. Sign him off to the Patriots practice squad, I believe it was. Yeah, we should be able to force some turnovers, get some sacks, hoping for the best here. He's got some weapons. They've got, a passing attack. You never know what can happen. This defense is at its struggles. So we'll find out, but we should be able to shut down Garrett Gilbert. Now, Jalen Hurts should be ready to go. We will find out Tuesday, but if not, Gardner Minshew came in, filled well against the Jets. So we'll find out, but I think that we just mentioned it. I think that this defense of Washington is not what it was expected to be this year. We should be able to put up some damn points. I think that Jalen Hurts should be able to run the ball, be able to control this game, and I'm going to go ahead and give the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles here. Now, going to the running back position, we talk about Antonio Gibson. We'll see if McKissick plays, but they've got Patterson there. We'll see if Smallwood's off of the COVID list. They've got all kinds of things going on there. But Gibson, you never know what he could do to you. So you're definitely going to watch out. We've had our struggles against the run, but we talk about each week we've improved. So let's shut him down, make them one-dimensional. They're going to try to get this dude involved. So let's shut him down. I think that our defense we really have the advantage here. With a quarterback like Garrett Gilbert, they're going to try to run the ball. So shut him down. We are very lucky now. We've got Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, everybody healthy. Run the ball, pound that rock. Number 1 rushing attack in the league. I'm going with the advantage to that number 1 rushing attack of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the wide receivers of the Washington football team. Terry McLaurin, very good receiver, but dealing with some injuries the past couple of weeks. He is banged up, but probably going to play. Curtis Samuel, we don't know if he'll play. He's been banged up all season. They've got Humphreys, DeAndre Carter, Cam Sims just came off the COVID list. You've got some young guys down there at the bottom. So they've got some receivers there, but it's Garrett Gilbert throwing them the ball. So going to be a tough time. And they've got a good secondary that they're going up against, a vastly improved secondary each week. So we'll see how they fare. But then I'm going with the wide receivers. Look, Devante Smith, Jalen Reagor, we've got Quez Watkins back. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and just say that I think that their wide receiving core is better, but I'm going to go just because of the fact that who their quarterback is, just the way their offense is set up, what's going on there with that team. I'll be real with you. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. But we're going ahead and giving the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles at wide receiver, just because I feel that they have the advantage when it comes to having a better advantage than Washington. I think they're going to have a tough time. You'll see when I don't want to give away too much, but we'll get to it a little bit here. Now, at tight end, Ricky Seals-Jones, you've got, somebody that's been in the league for a few years, a journeyman, because of the fact that Sammy Reyes, Tamarick Hemingway are both on the COVID list. Logan Thomas and Dylan Cantrell on the IR. So they are hurting. John Bates in there. We talked about him during the draft. I think that he's talented, but look, this room is hurting bad. This Eagles team needs to shut them down. That's why I talk about this wide receiving core. It's going to be easy to try to shut these guys down. I think we know where their strengths are. But then again, this defense is at its struggles. So, Eagles offense, Dallas Goedert is, dude, tight end one. Cannot be more excited about that. Want to see more of that 13 personnel. Tyree Jackson, Jack Stoll, been loving it. So, more. And I don't think that this Washington defense is going to be able to shut him down. Cole Holcomb has been dealing with an injury all week. So I think this is going to be an advantage that, once again, you're going to have to go ahead and give to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's just, I feel this defense, weirdly enough, coming into this season, we talked about Washington was the best defense, right? What's going on, Jerry? Hopefully you're having yourself a great night. Hope you're ready for Christmas, man. We're going through, checking out the rosters of both teams, talking about who has the advantage here. Let me know your thoughts on this. Now we're going on to the offensive line. This is where they're really going to struggle. This is why Garrett Gilbert, these receivers, the running backs, everybody has the disadvantage. Well, because first off, not the greatest offensive line, but now you lost your starting right tackle in Cornelius Lucas and Tyler Larson, both on the COVID list. I don't know. Maybe Larson and Lucas are off of the list because, they gave them these extra few days. We have already seen a few guys we're going to talk about here on defense come back, so we'll see. But they already have Roulier, Schweitzer, and Cosme on the IR, so they're hurting bad, man. We'll see what they roll out, but this is probably what their line is going to look like. This Eagles defense should be able to dominate, but we have had our struggles, have not been able to get sacks, so we'll see what we do. But when it comes to a dominant offensive line, that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Unfortunately, we talk about Dickerson probably going to miss this game on the COVID list. But you see here, already missing Brooks, Driscoll, Sayamalu, and Anderson. We figured it out. Anderson's practice window was open. He'll probably come off the IR soon, but not going to see him this week. You'll probably, my guess, Sua Opeta at left guard. Maybe you try someone else out there, but for the most part, Toth could probably play in there. But LaRaven Clark and Andre Dillard are left tackles. Clark can play a little bit of tackle. He can play a little bit of guard, but I'm guessing you see Sua Opeta in there. That would just be who I go with. But for me, I think we all know that this is still a very dominant line with Mailata and Johnson on the ends, Kelsey in the middle there. And, you have Urbig replacing Driscoll there. We'll see when Brandon Brooks comes back. But for me, advantage, Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles go ahead with the sweep there on the offense. And look, this means nothing. We're just talking about it, looking at it on paper. And right now they are definitely struggling with the injuries, everything you're going to see. So we'll see. Keeping it on the ground. Yep, we're going to run the ball, man. We're going to run the ball. So we'll see on Tuesday if we decide to do that. Now, this defense, we talk about the Washington football team. They have a decent run defense. They're not giving up 100 yards per game, only 93.6, but you can pass on them. So that we talk about this, establishing that run, allowing this team to open up the passing game. I hope to see some things from the young receivers, especially with their secondary banged up, but we'll see. Total points given up and talk about total yardage. I mean, below average once again. This Eagles offense should be able to put up some points. Now, this defense is getting 2.2 sacks per game. So once again, below average. You see the stats here. It's weird because, going into the season, we thought that this Washington football team would have the best defense, but that has not been the case. Now, when looking at the Eagles defense, we have definitely improved each and every week. We've talked about that. And, as I've been putting these together, each week it changes and the numbers go up. And I love that. We're tied for 12th against the run, 11th against the pass. We're tied for 9th. Oh, little tongue twister there. Tied for 9th. Total yardage given up, but you see the points there. 16th. We're middle of the pack right now. We keep improving each week. That's what I want to see. So keep doing that. The area that is killing me, though, not getting to the quarterback. We're tied for 29th with 1.6 sacks per game. Do not like that. We need to get some interceptions. Let's get some turnovers, some big play slay maybe. Let's get this defensive line rolling. Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, get after the quarterback. It's Garrett Gilbert, for the love of God. Let's go. Now let's take a look at what these defenses will look like. Now, we talked about the good old luck of time gave him Jonathan Allen, one of their stud defensive linemen. He will be back. They had Deron Payne. Daniel Wise just came off again. They got another guy today, somebody that can play inside and out, probably help them at defensive tackle because they had to sign Akeem Spence off of the streets. So defensive end, you've got a bunch of guys back, though, for them. So they're good there now. Montez Sweat, James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, and Will Bradley King all came off of the COVID list. So they've got a bunch left. They were down to Shaka Toney, Nate Orchard, Punmi Routini, and they were using Daniel Wise before he was on the COVID list. So wild stuff there. Chase Young and Jalen Jelks on the IR, but they've got their guys back now. So no excuses for them. Don't want to hear it. They're COVID, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Got Sweat. Shaka Toney probably won't start. It'll probably be Casey Toohill, maybe James Smith-Williams. But with them just coming off the IR list, when I made this graphic, I had him there. So I just kept him there. Don't know exactly how they're feeling or what's going on there. If they weren't even sick, who knows? Who cares? We will find out. But you see, there's the list of guys that you will see a rotation of this Tuesday, not Sunday. Weird. So you've got the Eagles defensive line and you've got a bunch of studs, but we've talked about it not getting pressure. Don't know if that's Jonathan Gannon's fault. Yes, it is. There's a lot of things that need to be figured out, with this hybrid scheme, people learning new positions, whatever it is. But Hargrave, Cox need to feast. Milton Williams, Ridgeway, get him in there. And then that edge rush. We talk about Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, Jannard Avery, all these guys need to get after the damn quarterback. Need to continue to see Teron Jackson, Patrick Johnson get some elevated snaps, see how they grow, how they can be part of this defense moving forward, not just this season. So I'm excited to see what this edge rush can do, excited to see what the interior can do. I think they're going to have a much tougher time. I'm going ahead and giving the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this should be a game where we could see maybe even 3 sacks. That would be fantastic. Love to see some turnovers, and, it all starts in the trenches, so let's go. Now at linebacker, we talk about Holcomb dealing with that injury. Now you have Jamin Davis and Jordan Kanazik as your only other options. David Mayo and Milo Eifler both on the COVID list, and then Kaliki Hudson just came off of the COVID list only to go to the IR, which Bostic and Norris are already on. So banged up there. Maybe see some guys elevated from the practice squad, but yeah, they're banged up there. Not good for them, but Jamin Davis is really a really bright young man, and damn it, I hate that he is on the Washington football team. So going to be annoying to have to see him twice a year every year. We'll see what he does to us this week. Now, we've got Alex Singleton, TJ Edwards, both improved play. Edwards has been phenomenal, but Davian Taylor, unfortunately, on the IR. So Sean Bradley and Singleton increased reps. Let's continue to do what we do. I think, like we said, we can make them one-dimensional. I think that these linebackers should be able to feast this week, and I think they're going to try to run that ball. I think that the advantage, I'm going to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles because they have to go against the number 1 rushing attack. Jamin Davis, who I talked about, is not a run stopper, but Cole Holcomb is, but he's dealing with that injury. So we'll see how they fare. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting because I think for me, we talked about the receivers being better and they have the advantage. Now it kind of is like, well, then shouldn't the corners? Well, for me, I think their corners, let's take a look at them. William Jackson, Danny Johnson, Darrell Roberts, Cornelder right now, because of the fact that Kendall Fuller's on the COVID list and then St. Just and McTire on the IR. Now you've got someone like Jeremy Reeves who you can use in the nickel position. We'll see what they do there, but this is still a decent secondary. With the corners, now they have struggled mightily, but William Jackson versus Devante Smith going to be a fun matchup. Now our other receivers have struggled to do anything. As much as I like them, and on paper, they should be great, they haven't done much. So it's going to be a very tough defense coming into Philadelphia. We'll see what they do, but these safeties, man. Cameron Curl placed on COVID list. That is not good for them. But Derek Forrest and Troy Apke joined him, so that's a huge blow to them. Probably see Bobby McCain. He moves all around, safety, nickelback. He plays all over the place for the Washington defense, but Landon Collins, he can do the same. You're going to see a plethora of those guys out there, DeStasia, Everett, and Jeremy Reeves. So all these guys are going to have to be used. We'll see how exactly they use them. But I really feel that these young receivers are going to have a tough time. That's why I think we have to continue to run the ball. We'll see if we do that. Jonathan Gannon, I want to see your defense, destroy Washington and allow this team to just run that ball continually, and just, control the clock. And I think that we should be able to walk away with a win, but don't want to get ahead of myself. Now, our secondary, they have done great. Darius Slay, Steve Nelson, Avonte Maddox, but they've definitely had their struggles at times. Someone like Terry McLaurin, if Curtis Samuel is healthy, could definitely give us some struggles. And I think also, the safeties have had their struggles as well. As much as I like Rodney McLeod and Anthony Harris, Kayvon Wallace hasn't lived up to people's hype. Marcus Epps has done really well, but he's been taking reps away from all these guys. So that's not really a good thing for the other guys and not a great look for us. So we've had our struggles, and dear God, I swear, if Garrett Gilbert comes out here looking like Tom Brady, I'm going to jump off of an effing roof. So weirdly enough, I went with the advantage to the Washington football team just because they are a veteran group, and I think that our young core could struggle. And I wanted to give one to Washington here. I think their defense is decent. No, they've had their struggles, but we'll see exactly how it plays out. But I think that, these receivers, let's just hope I'm jinxing it for the good, the good of the team. That's what I'm hopeful for. Now, we'll get into last but not least the special teams here. They had to sign Brian Johnson off the streets because Joey Sly's on IR. We just talked about Brian Johnson, who got cut right before the Saints game. So now he actually gets to play against us. Tressway at punter, Cameron Cheeseman is a long snapper. Nothing to fear there. But in the return game, DeAndre Carter, a very good returner. I think, obviously this kid could kill us, and an ex-Eagle who they always seem to do things like that to us. So I'm hopeful that we just a lot of touchbacks, a lot of great punts from Aaron Sipos, and we keep the ball away from DeAndre Carter. So with a great kicker, a great punter, you're able to do that. Both these guys have done really well. Hopefully they get into the Pro Bowl because they've definitely earned it in my eyes. Rick Lovato, a great long snapper. So continue to keep up the great work. I think that we definitely have the edge right there. In the return game, I don't know, man. Jalen Reagor has struggled mightily. He has struggled in the receiving game as well. But in the return game, man, you've got other options here. Quez Watkins, Greg Ward, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, whoever the hell you want to use. I don't care, but we need to get something out of this return game. I have loved what Michael Clay has done with the special teams, but the one flaw has been Jalen Reagor making a lot of mistakes, and I would love to see him turn things around, really get things going, because we have a very talented room. It is much more talented than the Washington football team, and I think we have a great unit on our side. So for me, I'm going the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles. Would love to see a big game from all three facets of the game this Tuesday, and I think we can get that done. So that was it, ladies and gentlemen, your Philadelphia Eagles and Washington football team roster comparison and matchup advantages. Let me know how you're feeling about that. Do you agree, disagree? How do you think this game's going to go down? How do you think these Eagles are going to look? Do you think Washington's just waiting to get back some more players? I'm hopeful maybe Landon Dickerson, actually doesn't have COVID, and it's just, one of those, it was close contact and he can be ready to go. That'd be great. But I'll definitely let you guys know. But yeah, dude, the return game has struggled. I'd love to see Quez or somebody just doing something, man. Anything. Even Darius Slay. I don't even care, man. Put somebody back there. I know we need him as a corner, but let's go, baby. And I'm throwing that jinx out there so that this secondary gets lots of pick sixes. I think that we're going to have a huge game, a lot of turnovers. I could see 3 turnovers, 3 sacks. Mark it down. Let's get a big win. And I will be back tomorrow. We will be talking about the top 10 matchups. And don't you worry, one of the honorable mentions for the matchups will be Washington football team versus the coronavirus. We'll see if they can beat it, make it to this game even. Time will only tell. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys checking me out on all of these platforms, following me, hitting that like button, subscribing to the YouTube channel, whatever you're doing to support me. I truly do appreciate it. But as I said, I will be back tomorrow. If you guys need anything in between that time, you can always reach out to me. Any of these platforms here, always down to talk some birds. You want to talk about life, anything, always here for you guys. Appreciate you always being here for me. Have yourselves a great night. Stay safe out there. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully this game's still going. I keep seeing the Sixers got canceled. I'm pissed off. I really am. So everyone just say a prayer tonight that we get this game. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking top 10. Have yourselves a great rest of your night. And as always, go Birds!